I 32M found out my long-term girlfriend, 30F, was cheating. Through her own texts, I never thought I'd be in a situation like this. I guess no one does. You don't go into a relationship expecting betrayal. But there I was, staring at my phone, knowing my life was about to change in a way I never saw coming. Sarah and I had been together for 6 years. We weren't just dating, we lived together, had a joint savings account, and were planning a future. Marriage was something we had talked about casually, never with a set date, but we both knew we were headed in that direction. Or at least, I thought we were. She worked in marketing, a demanding job that often had her attending work events, networking functions, and conferences. I trusted her completely. She was always independent, had her own friends, and I never wanted to be the kind of guy who checked in too much. Maybe I should have. The signs were small at first. Her phone suddenly getting more privacy settings, more nights out with work friends, a little more distance between us. I chalked it up to stress. I even asked her about it, and she told me I was overthinking, that I needed to relax. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Then, one evening, my friend Josh sent me a message. "Hey man, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I saw Sarah last night. She was with some guy. They were close. Too close." He sent a picture. It wasn't anything explicit, just Sarah leaning into a guy at a bar, laughing, her hand resting on his thigh. Maybe not damning evidence, but definitely not nothing. Felt sick. I told myself there had to be an explanation. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I needed to see for myself. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked her phone while she was in the shower. I hated myself for it, but I needed the truth, and I found it. Messages, flirty ones, hidden under a different name in her contacts, meeting up, sneaking, around. She had been sleeping with him for at least 3 months. 3 months of my life where I thought things were just stressful, where I thought we were fine. I didn't confront her immediately. I couldn't. I needed time to process. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I told her we needed to talk. I sat her down, showed her the messages, and asked her to explain. She froze. I could see her mind working, scrambling for a way out. Then the excuses started. It wasn't serious. I never meant to hurt you. I was confused. Then came the guilt trip. You've been so distant lately. I thought maybe you weren't in love with me anymore. I just sat there, listening to her try to rewrite history, trying to make me the reason she did this. I didn't yell. I didn't lose my temper. I just told her to pack a bag and leave. She cried, tried to touch my arm, begged me not to make any rash decisions, but I had already made up my mind. She moved in with a friend. A few weeks later, I started sorting out the logistics, our finances, our apartment lease. She tried to reach out, tried to meet up to talk things through. I refused. There was nothing left to say. I wasn't going to waste my time demanding apologies or trying to understand something I could never make sense of. She made her choice. I made mine. Now, months later, I'm still adjusting to the silence of living alone again, to the shift from we to me. Some days I miss her, not who she was at the end, but the person I thought she was before. But I know better now. Update, I figured. Some closure might be useful for others going through something similar. Sarah has tried to reach out more times than I can count. At first, it was desperate apologies, then long-winded explanations, then attempts at nostalgia, sending pictures of old trips, trying to remind me of the good times. We actually ran into each other completely by accident. At all places, the grocery store. I was in the frozen food aisle, just grabbing some basics, when I heard someone call my name. I turned around, and there she was, standing there awkwardly, holding a basket full of items. She looked nervous, hesitant, like she wasn't sure if she should say anything. I gave her a small nod, acknowledging her presence, but said nothing. She took that as an invitation to talk. "Hey, how have you been?" she asked, her voice softer than I remembered. I shrugged. "I've been good." It was the truth. I had been focusing on myself, hitting the gym more, reconnecting with old friends, finally picking up some hobbies I had neglected. I wasn't bitter anymore. Just done. She sighed, shifting on her feet. I miss you. I just looked at her for a second, then replied, I don't. That was the end of it. She didn't try to follow me, didn't plead or make a scene. She just stood there as I turned away and walked to the checkout line. That moment made me realize the sight of her didn't stir up any emotions. No anger, no sadness, no nostalgia. Just indifference. And that, more than anything, felt like the biggest win of all. Update 2A, a lot of people told me I was lucky to have found out before marriage or kids, and I completely agree. It could have been so much worse. For those wondering if she went back to the guy she cheated with, I don't know, and I don't care. Her choices are no longer my concern. Someone asked if I'll ever be able to trust again. Honestly, I don't know. Right now, I'm just enjoying the peace of being single and focusing on my own life. Maybe one day, but I'm in no rush. For everyone who reached out with support, thank you. It means more than I can say.